so strange. Thank you to Bridget for letting everybody in. Let me see if I can pull up the agenda. It's a short agenda today. We tried to keep it light, but talking about something really important around KHHC. But we know it's also December, and some people have already taken off early. Anybody doing any fun things for Christmas? Might as well have an icebreaker. Anybody surprised it's December 17th already, like me? Oof, ham and turkey sound great right now. It's sunny outside right now in Bremerton. It surprised me. It was really rainy yesterday.
Leave it up to Washington to be pouring down rain and wind going crazy and then bright sunny weather out the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, yesterday I had this feeling like the rain's just gonna stay and it's gonna be months and we're just gonna get used to this. And then just so happens now it's sunny out. So I'm like, oh, I don't know what to get used to. We're not allowed to get used to any type of weather here.
Yep.
Well, it looks like we can get started. Looks like most people have logged in. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Katie Sharp. I am the chair of the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition. And today we're actually going to go over kind of the introduction in our presentation. Today we're going over the just KHHC in general and what we do. And we'll do a short vote for nominated individuals for the executive committee. And we'll go over the Project Connect update as well as updates from the Kitsap County Division of Housing and Homelessness. I think there's an update around the point in time count. And then if you have any agency news you'd like to share, resources, anybody you'd like to connect with, feel free to record that in the chat and we'll call on you at the end of the meeting or raise your hand at the end of the meeting and share your updates. Looks like right now we have 25 people in the chat, so lots of opportunities to connect. And of course, this meeting is recorded by Marwan Cameron in the Conduit, so thank you, Marwan. And let me stop sharing for a second. Again, welcome to the Kids Out Housing and Homelessness Coalition. We don't take a lot of opportunity here to talk about what we do, and I figured, well, actually, the executive team really wanted to do this, is talk about what we do and how to be involved and kind of our past and our present and kind of what we're dealing with, because there is a lot of change since COVID, and it's nice to mention that and see where we want to go next. And just to remind everyone, we're a network of housing and social service providers assisting people experiencing homelessness and housing instability. So thank you all for being here today. Our vision is every person in our community has a safe, decent, stable, and appropriate home. Our mission is to provide leadership to end homelessness. Then I should share my screen. I assume I am not. I can't even get to my share button. Just a second. Am I sharing my screen right now?
No, it's not being shared yet.
I can't even get to my button. Sorry, everyone. There we go. Let's try this one more time. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Again, it was just an intro slide, so we're all good here. Again, our vision, mission, and values. So to repeat, our mission is to provide leadership and to end homelessness through planning, coordination among social service providers, advocacy, and education. And our values are to carry out our mission with respect, commitment, compassion, integrity, and a willingness to change. This is our 2025 KHHC Executive Committee. We have been meeting every month, first Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m. virtually as well, just to talk about kind of the upcoming presentations and what we should be doing and focusing on. It's an all-volunteer committee, and we really care a lot about bringing you value through our meetings. Just a little bit about me. I don't know if I've shared this over the last 2 years that I've been shared, but I joined KHHC in 2021. I had worked for Bremerton Housing Authority since 2016, and on a part of, in a department that actually didn't work within the local community. We had a different contract. So even though I worked at Bremerton Housing Authority, I really didn't know how to connect with community. I lived downtown, and I was just looking for an opportunity to learn more. So I actually reached out to our housing department director at the time, and I asked her how I can get involved, and she recommended KHHC. And again, this was 2021. We were already all virtual. I had never joined before. And so I just wanted to be involved. And so she invited me to the executive team, and I've been there ever since. And then in 2022, Lisa Lechuga had taken over as chair, and we started building some systems to support the structure of KHHC, like a shared inbox. We hadn't had that before, and a mailing list. I think it was mostly like sending emails back and forth. Well, my background's in communications. I am the communications manager at Bremerton Housing Authority right now. But I also have a background in business and education, and I just have a real interest in building sustainable systems to support just to support our work. I've learned so much. I've made so many connections over the years. And when Lisa Lechuga, she actually was the branch manager at the downtown Bremerton Library. And she hadn't been here. She had, I think, started in 2019. But this was a new experience for her as well, because KHHC actually started before 2009. And it was named the Continuum of Care Coalition. So it has a lot of history, and Bridget's going to share a little bit more about that, because again, I wasn't here, Lisa wasn't here. We were kind of thrown into it to kind of see what we can make work. And so we've been trying to create these systems, and it's been really interesting, really fun, but we're always learning. So I'm super grateful for everybody who's on the executive team, who we really want to help. We really want to know where we can help most. And Bridget, do you want to share a little bit?
Hi, everyone. I'm Bridget Glasspool. I'm the Director for Housing and Community Services for Kitsap Mental Health. I'm also a board member for Community Frameworks, and I am the Vice Chair for the Kitsap Housing and Homeless Coalition. I just want to say that I have been attending these meetings since 2015, so for a decade now. And Kitsap Housing and Homeless Coalition has been very instrumental for my career. I moved to the state of Washington in 2014, and when you first kind of start launching in social services, you don't know who does what agencies are out there. And this was a great place for me to learn who people are, what their agencies do, and just collaboration. I have seen so many things be developed, programs, partnerships because of this meeting, because we get to know one another. So it's just a great place to learn about other programs, learn of new programs, get updates of programs, see what changes there are out there, and then just to make some good friends. As you all know, we probably all know each other, and some of us actually go out on side of this, as well as just go to lunch or coffee or what have you. And it's a great place to meet like-minded people and learn of programs and just to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. And Madison couldn't be here today, but I will share that Madison's been really involved. She was at the Kitsap the Kitsap Homes of Compassion, and now she just transitioned to her new role at Kitsap Mental Health Services, and she's just been really passionate about helping. She stepped in as secretary because both our secretaries, we had co-secretaries at one point, they got different roles at different organizations, and so Madison has stepped in wherever we needed help. So I really appreciate that she's been there to support us. And Allie.
Hi, I'm Allie Moyer. I am the Coordinated Entry and Supportive Housing Manager at Housing Solution Center at Kitsap Community Resources. I joined the executive committee, I want to say it was a little over a year ago, about a year ago, as KCR went through some growing pains and changes in management, and we had lost sight of this. And I am currently the project chair for Project Connect. On the Project Connect committee. I really enjoy working with all of the different agencies and being able to find out through others how things used to be, why they are the way they are now, and what we can do to improve the system and figure out how we can all work together. So
thank you, Allie. Carl.
I'm Carl Borg. I'm the Housing and Homelessness Program Manager. And I came to Kitsap in 2008 as the campaign director for United Way. So I was here when the Continuum of Care Coalition started. Then moved to CEO of United Way, and then took over this position in 2023 since it had been vacant for a while. And I was looking for a change, so I moved over here, and it's been an amazing learning experience. You think you know a lot about Kitsap County until you get involved even deeper within the housing and homelessness system.
Thank you, Carl. And the Kitsap County is very supportive of our work, and we support them as well. And just appreciate Carl's involvement in the executive committee. Charlie couldn't be here today. Charlie is a new member of the executive committee, joined a few months ago, and he is the executive director of Fishland. And it's been really nice to have somebody like Charlie join us. We have a lot of representation from the Bremerton area, so having the North Kitsap perspective has been really eye-opening as well. So again, we are Kitsap wide. We are not just Bremerton. And sometimes if we only have representation from certain areas, then we kind of get boxed in certain places. So we appreciate all of the perspectives. Eric, I don't think Eric could be here today. Let me check. Eric Harold from the Salvation Army has been part of the executive committee for a few years now, and his perspective working directly with those most in need and bringing in whatever tools and resources he can to help us and advise us has been so important to our work. And again, we just appreciate Eric's involvement, and we know he's very busy at the Salvation Army. Jessica?
Hi, I'm Jessica Martin. I am Recovery Outreach Coordinator at Housing Solutions Center. I am just kind of getting started on the executive committee, but I've been with KCR for about 10 years now. I've loved my passion since I've worked here has been the outreach part of working in this last 10 years, being a part of that team and being able to find all the resources and bring those back to everybody here, and so we can get those out in the community is one of my favorite things to do. So just like to be able to expand and take in more resources. So
thank you, Jessica. And this year, Jessica and Allie took on the resource guide and really updating that, something that we've had for a long time. And it's just been really, I'm just grateful that KCR has taken on an active role in that. And as you saw from last month's presentation, we're now moving into digital, but we still have the paper version. We're just appreciative of KCR taking on that. And thank you, Jessica and Allie.
And Joni Baker was the biggest go on the new resource guide. So I just wanted to give her that shout out too, because she's
Definitely
absolutely done amazing with this. I don't know what I would do with with just keeping up with the paper copy, but yes, absolutely. She did. She's wonderful on that.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
Katie K.
PK, good afternoon. I am Katie Knudsen, and I am the Director of HEN for the Southwest for Catholic Community Services. I started with the HEN program in October of 2019, and one of the things that they told me was that I had to attend this meeting. I had to attend. That was something I had to do in the community, was go. And I was fortunate when I started, we were still meeting in person. And so the first few meetings that I attended, I actually got to go to the meeting at the Salvation Army and have a cookie and see people's faces and be able to connect with people in person, which I value that. And man, what a blessing, because I did home care for 10 years. I've lived here my whole life, but I didn't have any idea as far as resources for housing. So just attending the meeting gave me all these people I could contact with other agencies and other avenues that we could use to try and house folks through the HEN program. I don't remember when I joined the executive committee. It's been a few years ago. But I enjoy being part of the process and getting Project Connect set up. I don't think anyone's ever going to let me forget the coffee debacle. But being part of the behind the scenes and helping figure out, what our next steps are going to be has been huge. And the people that I participate in this with have been wonderful to work with. So I'm happy to be here and be part of it.
Thank you, Katie. And last but not least, I did these in alphabetical order by first name, and Leif, you ended up being the last one. Leif, I know you're here. I saw you come in.
I am here.
Ah.
My name is Leif Wagner. I'm currently the director for the Olympic Peninsula Autism Center for Easter Seals. In my professional career, I have spent time with Kitsap Community Resources, Catholic Community Services, Kitsap Mental Health Services. Who am I missing?
Bremerton Housing Authority.
Bremerton Housing. Sorry. Enjoyed my time with each and everyone. Learned a lot. Got to meet a lot of great people that are advocates for our population that so desperately needs it. In my time during at Kitsap Community Resources, I was asked to redesign the website and monitor it and update it, and that was 2012. I left social services for a bit, and came back to an unattended website. And I've been doing that again ever since. I believe that was 2020. So yeah, pleasure to meet you all. I appreciate everything that you guys do.
And Leif, you always speak KHHC first, and I always notice that. You think of ways to really connect resources, and you say, oh, KHHC should bring that, or let's meet with that organization and get them involved in KHHC. So I always appreciate that, having that KHHC first mindset. Again, if we're a network, how do we strengthen the network? We have to always talk about it. So I appreciate
The
that.
original concept was, again, this was originated back when Housing Solutions Center was first created, and having that central location where all the information was and the point of contacts were, when it's run effectively. And I really feel like we're doing a really good job at it. The information is, everybody knows where to gather it from. So yes, thank you for that, Katie.
Before we start talking about history, I just want to recognize Sally Santana. Again, I joined in 2021. I did not get to meet Sally Santana, but everything that we do is somehow connected to Sally's work, whether it's the resource guide, which was called Sally's List, Project Connect. I was reading a little bit about her history. Cheryl Piercy, a former past chair, she actually, I think, got us through COVID. And she was a great resource, and she did a lot of things for the coalition during that time. She's an amazing person, and she put together an entire presentation to honor Sally and her work. And again, it sounds like Sally was just a mover and a shaker in our county to get things started, and I appreciate all her work. And I know many of you still remember Sally, so I just wanted to make sure to honor her how she catalyzed some of our work that we do today. Bridget, did you want to say anything? Leif?
I mean, I can add, when Cheryl was a part, she often did talk about Sally Santana. I did not move to the state of Washington until 2014, so unfortunately, I never had the pleasure of meeting her.
Super, super kind lady who was like the biggest advocate. You did not want to get on her wrong side between her and a client. That would be, yeah, there would be problems. Super, super kind lady. Could not even dream of something negative to say about her. She was really, really good person. Great advocate.
Thank you. Just a little bit of our history. And Bridget can speak to this because Bridget has been
Can I
here.
jump in on the history part of it?
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks, Katie. So decades of meetings in person. So we used to meet certain meetings in Salvation Army. If you guys are familiar, there's a big upstairs room, and we would be so big, we would wrap the tables, and then we would have a second set of chairs. And then sometimes it'd be people standing in the doorways or out in the hallways. This was like the one big meeting that happened every month that everyone was excited to come to. We could collaborate on clients, we could collaborate on programs, we could try to build programs together, and just seeing each other was awesome. You know, we were all so busy in our work, we didn't get to see each other. And then some of the meetings that couldn't be held at Salvation Army, we went to Agape in their big meeting rooms. So we did this quite often. We loved that the meetings were from 2 to 4. Most of us got off work at 5, and from 4 to 5, we worked on projects together, or we collaborated, or we tried to connect clients to each other, things like that. So it was great networking tool that we used when we were always in person. And that speaks to the next part about time dedicated to resource sharing and networking. It was also a meeting that everyone came early to because you wanted to find that one person you wanted to sit next to because you needed to talk to them about something and didn't want them leaving before you met with them about a project they were working on or some idea that you had or whatever it might be. So it was always a great place to collaborate. And then many people with experience leading the coalition. So in my history, we always did our nominations for the executive committee, and the executive committee was always the bigger nonprofits always had a leg in the executive committee. So we always, had someone from KCR, someone from Bremerton Housing Authority, someone from Catholic Community Services, so there were a lot of the the key players in our community that were a part of the executive committee, and then a lot of their staff and or a lot of the smaller nonprofits were definitely a part of the coalition, even though they might not be on the executive committee. And then just an inherited understanding of what this group is for. I think as we pass down information, we all know this is a great place to meet. This is a great place to collaborate. This is a great place to learn of new programs. I mean, part of what Katie does and all the past chairs is they find presenters every single month so that we can learn of a new program or an update on a program that's being launched, or just an update or refresher on things, because lots of times if we don't use them, we just need a refresher to learn about them again. And then just a strong commitment from agencies. I mean, that's something we have always had. I look at this meeting, we have 32 people here. I remember sometimes in person, we'd have 50 plus people in there. And it's nice to see that all the nonprofits and the agencies have a commitment to this coalition and want to be a part of it. We want to work together. We want to collaborate. We know that we all do amazing work, and what better way to have one place that we can share this, and then that we can collaborate, because I look around the room and I think of what Leif does or what Katie does or what Marwan does. I don't do the same things you guys do. So I love to reach out to you and say, I have this client, or you reach out to me. Yeah, Allie, you just popped your camera on. Of course, I can't forget coordinated entry. You guys do everything. But just that we can work together and, we get those things done because we all are advocating for our client, and we all have resources that we can share because we all have unique abilities and, great things to offer.
Thank you, Bridget. Bridget it's been such a value to bring to the executive committees, because we talk about these things. Like what I want to share, what we do today is it's different, right? We meet online via Zoom. There's not as much opportunity for networking. And then when in executive committee, when we talk about meeting in person, it's like we think about, oh, what it used to be like with Katie and Bridget. Think about, oh, it was great. We meet at the Salvation Army. I don't have that experience, but also that experience could be different now because the way we book our times, the way we book our meetings, can we dedicate time to go networking? When it was just a given that there's a meeting, so you're going somewhere. And so really navigating that landscape, but still providing that same opportunity to share resources. I know at Project Connect, that first day, everybody's in one big room and everybody just excited to see each other, right? Because we don't get to see each other in person like that, where we're like picking up each other's flyers and brochures and we're talking about the resources. And so those are just opportunities. How do we create those opportunities but still respect everyone's time? Because it's just a different world now. We're doing a lot, but again, when we're on virtual, we're sometimes doing 3 different things at once. We're not as engaged. And so, but again, how do we add value if we do have something in person? Is it a training instead of just getting together, sharing resources? Are we gathering resources ahead of time? There's just a lot of opportunities there, but there's a lot of work ahead of us if we want to move towards something more than just a virtual meeting. And so many people with different experiences on the executive committee now, and so it's great because how do we bring new members in? Or are we relying on people to know about KHHC because of their work in the past? But how do we kind of get that commitment and energy around what we do, just like we're doing now, trying to share out what we do and think about what the change might look like. We don't have as much understanding as we've done before. Again, things have changed though. Even if it was done a certain way, the landscape has changed either way. So just having a refresh look at it and really trying to think about it in a new way. And so we really right now, I think, rely on individual staff dedication. Everybody here today, I thank you so much for continually coming to the meeting every month and seeing value in it. And I would love it to, to do some sort of membership drive to really think about the agencies who are involved, because from the Bremerton Housing Authority side, even though we don't provide direct service to what you do to direct social service, like service directly to homeless individuals, that we more are on the affordable rental market side. This is how we learn. This is how we communicate our services. So there's no confusion, right? So we utilize this communication platform for something else, but it's existing for all of us, right? This mailing list, this meeting, like how do we share updates with each other so we know what we do and what we don't do, and how do we like take advantage of our strengths. So there's just a lot of things that we've been thinking about in the executive committee, but also like we just value all of you who are dedicated and come every month and learn from us, and we want to do more for you. There are bylaws that exist. Actually, they were last updated in 2016. And since then, a lot of the roles that are mentioned in the bylaws, KHHC is not a 501(c)(3). It is an all-volunteer group. But a lot of the responsibilities that were mentioned in the bylaws are now taken over by Kitsap County. Coordinating the point in time count, development of the 5-year plan, consolidated grant process. A lot of that was mentioned in our bylaws. So really finding, we have this inherent purpose of what we do, provide this network, but really kind of updating these bylaws, and so that, we understand the value of the membership. Like I said, lasting COVID-19 impacts, and we need to revisit the bylaws. I did want to share that. I mean, there's like a multi-page document, but they do exist, but they don't quite apply right now. So that is something we want to work on. Our current activities and initiatives, I listed a lot of the things we do and we talk about a lot and that you might see from us. But again, that's a lot of time that is being spent on certain things, and maybe time not being spent like on advocacy more, or putting together committees or marketing KHHC by going to different groups. Like there's so much opportunity. So right now we coordinate presentations for the monthly meetings. We try to bring value to you showing up every month. So we brought pallet shelters. I remember that was such a big catalyst for a lot of conversations happening around shelter here in Bremerton. And we brought, let me see, I can't think of everything, but there's just so many things that we talk about. I think the opioid response maps, Kitsap Transit, that was amazing. Just really refreshers on what others do. I remember just recently learning about Kitsap Homes and Compassion and their housing case management, and how anybody searching for a home might have an opportunity to get some help. And so, we might not hear it the first time we hear it, but maybe the second time we might connect with what we're doing. So trying to bring those refreshers too of our agencies and what we do. Gathering updates and sending the email newsletter. I try to send the newsletter at least twice a month. Sometimes I only get out once a month. The more updates we have, the more we can share out. But again, really valuing that we have this mailing list. It's a very active mailing list. Over 500 people are on, and I get at least 50% opens. So it's a very active mailing list. So if you already have your own, but you want to reach somebody else, this is a great opportunity to do that. We manage a central mailing or a mail inbox like through Outlook. And so that's been helpful, just because not just one person has access to it, multiple people do. But again, maintaining and updating the website, really looking at the website and saying, is it useful? Are people finding the information they need? Leif has been great. He designed it and we work with him on all the updates. But again, what's the strategy? Who is that website for? Is it for us as service providers, or is it for those who need the services? Or is it both? Is it clear? What is it communicating? There's always opportunities there, but again, we just need some more support to be able to do larger initiatives to make a change, like a website overhaul or anything like that, if that's a useful tool for us. And sharing Kitsap County resources, of course. Again, our website might not be the hub of everything, but it is the way to redirect people to the right places. Say somebody's looking for severe weather shelters, we would direct them to the Kitsap County website, right? So how do we really show up in the community through our digital presence? And then how do we share resources through that? And then we lead an annual community recognition program, the KHHC Awards. I think we've done that ever since I've been here. But it's a big undertaking to make sure that the awards are equitable, make sure everybody understands that the awards are available, the nomination process from the event planning. I mean, it's really important that we take time for ourselves and all of you to recognize those doing the work, because otherwise we just keep going. And so that's really important that's one of our big initiatives. And then recruiting and track membership. I think Cheryl Piercy, she would send out, from how I remember it, and anybody else here can speak to that as well. How I remember it is that there was a form and an agency can become a member, and then she verified membership. Well, since we kind of restructured everything, trying to really get an active mailing list going, I've been using the mailing list as our list of organizations. But we would love to get back to, you know, really thinking, who's a member of KHHC? Do you always have a representative at our meetings? Are you taking the information back to your agency that you're learning? And so those are things that we want to work on in the next year. And of course, Coordinated Project Connect. We only have one, other than the executive committee, we have one subcommittee, that's the Project Connect subcommittee. But again, a lot of these things that I'm talking about could be their own subcommittees. You know, shouldn't just fall on the shoulders of just one group. We just need to have some more interest and excitement over what kind of things that KHHC wants to do and volunteers to do that work. So, and I bolded the last one, supporting Kitsap County Homeless Housing Plan. And I bolded that because, again, we think about all these activities we're doing, but why are we doing those things? And it's really to support the plan that Kitsap County has to ensure resources are being coordinated. But we don't talk a lot about that here. And just so happens that one of the plans just got, well, the actual 5-year plan for 2025 to 2030 just got approved last week. And so I'll talk about that in a moment. And then the membership. So members include, like I mentioned before at the beginning, nonprofit organizations providing homeless services, government agencies involved in housing policy, community leaders and advocates, anyone passionate about ending homelessness. Again, it's a pretty broad range because I think we all have some activities that support housing and homelessness. So I think it's really important that you're here today. It's really important that we get the word out what we do, so more would want to join in and share more resources. And then the commitment includes attending meetings, sharing updates with members, participating in committees, networking collaboration, and then talking about the value of KHHC with others, like I shared what Leif was doing, where when he was connecting with resources, he was like, hey, we should bring that to KHHC, or hey, KHHC should meet with that resource. And thinking about ways to really leverage membership through KHHC is that we got to talk about it first. And then supporting the Kitsap County Homeless Housing Plan. Again, so from our roles and responsibilities are supporting the plan, members supporting the plan, to truly make a really important plan actionable, is that we got to talk about it. So if we talk about the homeless crisis response system, it's a community-wide network of coordinated programs, which include outreach, coordinated entry, diversion and prevention activities, emergency shelters and transitional housing, and permanent housing. And to make a system like this work, I've become really interested in how the system works, because we're all part of it in some way. And to make sure that people are being taken care of, the Kitsap County collects a lot of data. And I know you all have some sort of responsibility, a lot of you at least have a lot of responsibility entering data into HMIS and other tools. And so collecting data is a priority to understand system the performance and how is the system actually working. And then communication between services is key. So to be able to do this, we can ensure homelessness is rare, brief, and one time. Again, we've heard all these key terms a lot when we talk about homeless crisis response system. Ensure homelessness is rare, brief, and one time. But how do we do it? It's really understanding how we fit into the system. And one thing that we haven't done at KHHC through like our website is really try to help make it clear like how coordinated entry works, where you start, what, you know, maybe a visual, maybe a map to show how it all works together. But we can support the system in that way. And I do feel strongly that that could be a major part of what KHHC does, is really thinking about how we can communicate in plain language how the system works, the gaps that exist, so that we can all work together to fill the gaps instead of worry about, hey, I see this problem happening. I want to fix this problem, not realizing somebody else is already trying to fix this problem, or not realizing the strengths within the system where we could work together because we're already working on the same thing. So back to the Kitsap County Homeless Housing Plan, the objective, the first objective of it, and Carl could speak to this too, and I might have you speak to it after I give the objectives. So these are so important, right? How do you make a plan like this actionable? And so promoting an equitable, accountable, and transparent homeless crisis response system. I know KHHC is mentioned several times in the plan, and we are a tool to be able to make sure that the plan can succeed. And so I look forward to working with Carl and the county to really help meet these objectives. Promoting an equitable, accountable, and transparent homeless crisis response system. And we have these communication tools through KHHC, through the website, through the network, through the meetings. You know, there's so many opportunities to meet objective 1. And then objective 2 is strengthen the homeless service provider workforce. Objective 3 is prevent episodes of homelessness whenever possible. Objective 4 is prioritize those with the greatest barriers to housing stability and the greatest risk of harm. And objective 5 is to seek to house everyone in a stable setting that meets their needs. These objectives are laid out by the Department of Commerce. Is that right, Carl?
Yeah, the Department of Commerce, this is the first year where they've really taken the lead in having counties do the 5-year plan based on their criteria that supports the state's homeless housing plan also. So this, we've spent a year putting this together, presented to the commissioners last week, and then they approved it. So it is off to the Department of Commerce for approval. There are a lot of things that we'll be working with KHHC on to be able to hopefully start providing some more training. One of the things that the committee talked about was training for the workforce to strengthen the workforce. But by doing training for the workforce, that removes them out of the workforce. So start figuring out a way to implement a little more training within KHHC and provide that training that people need. So we're looking forward to implementing it in the next 5 years.
Thank you, Carl. I see so much value in having this guiding plan. And this is one of the only plans, I think, that is not just in the unincorporated side of Kitsap County, which is Silverdale and Kingston, but it also includes the cities. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's for the entire county. So everything all of the, all the jurisdictions normally during, Poulsbo, Bainbridge Island, Bremerton, and Port Orchard are oftentimes segregated out of different plans or have their own plans. This is the main county-wide plan.
I see so much value in this coordinated effort and that everybody has a stake in the game. So it's exciting that this just got approved and that KHHC is looking at ways we can really help. And, I know the county is so good. They put together all these data sheets and all this information on their website. But again, KHHC could make that, can explain that and say, and these sheets exist, and direct them to the county's website. And so we could help be that transition, that translator of all this complicated information like this housing plan, the data, and help make sure that those who need the data know it's there. So it's exciting to me, and it's a turning point, I think. And that's why I wanted to make sure to highlight supporting this plan is one of our main priorities. So I know you've heard me talking a lot, and I appreciate all the executive team who jumped in too. There's just a lot we could talk about here, but I did want to host a short discussion and I can take some notes. Does anybody have want to speak up about why it is important to be a member of KHHC or why it's important to you? You've heard from the executive team today, but if you want to share, we would love to hear from you.
I would just say that it gives us a place to provide a voice within the county as our collective group, as opposed to our own individual organizations that we're parts of.
Thank you, Corin. Looks like we might have some chats. Connecting with other agencies and hearing what they are doing. Again, I know sometimes it's a quiet meeting, and I know that was one of the main kind of goals of the meetings when they were in person, is all that sharing of resources, but figuring out ways to really encourage that sharing of resources is something we want to make sure these meetings do that. And it helps see where everybody might need support. When I first joined KHHC, I agree. I didn't know. I remember showing up and an update was, we have these beds available. I'm like, where else was that information? Somebody had beds available, and this is during a homeless crisis right after COVID, right? And I'm like, wow, like we were privy to this information that there were beds available. I think it was respite beds, but that was eye-opening to me to know, like, wow, there's a place to share that in real time. I know you all are here, and like I said before, really relying on individuals right now, and what does membership mean? So that's why some of these questions is trying to drive discussion around membership, because we really want to make sure that coming to this meeting, you have lots of meetings to go to, is valuable. So if you don't have anything to share now, that's okay. But Joni says she attends to keep sharing and adding resources to the Kitsap guide. Again, to be able to do that, we have to be able to share resources and make sure that we're prioritizing bringing those updates to the meetings to share with each other. Executive team, do you have any follow-ups for this one?
I'll just add something. I think too, some of the importance of being a member is to support other organizations. I feel like coming from California, I came from an area where people didn't share their resources, and I feel like here in Kitsap County, we share what we have, and it's just really, I always find that the KHAC really helps with the membership to share both our knowledge and our resources with one another, because at the end of the day, we all just want to help a client.
And Deanne Jackson says she couldn't come off mute, but being part of KHHC is important to my work in prevention. Often housing insecurity comes up while working with families, and the more information and resources that I am connected to, I'm better equipped to provide the best support possible. And resources for clients, connections, and other organizations doing similar work. Learning about what other social service providers can offer, and a contact to connect clients to services. I remember being in a Project Connect kickoff meeting a couple of years ago, and it wasn't in person. I have to say, it was an in-person meeting, but it was really neat. Like, I think somebody came and asked a question about a resource, and I didn't have to know that answer, but the people in the room were all of a sudden connected, and you know, Peninsula Health could talk to this other organization, and they can could coordinate right there. And I thought that there's so much value in that. Again, not me representing all these organizations, understanding everything you do, but really being that connecting piece. It's important to know what's out there if what someone is needing falls outside of the scope of services, again, around resources, and KHHC helps form the net and keep people from falling through the cracks. I appreciate that. As Helpline serves Bainbridge Island residents specifically, it is helpful for us to stay connected to the other providers so we can send our clients to the most appropriate resources. It also allows the social services team to remain connected to and keep or build relationships with community partners and agencies. And what I'm hearing around this question is really about the value comes in knowing that showing up, that you are as connected to the resources as possible. And if you do have a question, you have an executive team to reach out to, an admin at kitsapphhc.com .org email. I think that that's valuable to us, right? As we look at all these initiatives we can be doing, but making sure what we do is that those resources, is bringing those resources together in some way. Thank you. This sounds like it's going to have similar answers, but if you do have anything extra to share, it sounds like the value is the resources, is the connections. And do you feel, can anybody speak to, like, how is this group different than other groups that are similar, where they could bring a presentation, then the agency shares updates? Do you feel there's a difference? Do you feel like a similarity? Do you think there's duplication in how some of these resource groups are run? Katie.
I'm going to jump in. When we stepped into the HEN program in Thurston County, the first time they have a meeting, they said you have to go to this meeting. I was kind of excited, and then when I attended the meeting, it isn't anything like this meeting. It's similar, but I feel like there's maybe not this sense of community, and I don't feel like it brings as much value as the one that we have. It's kind of a, I don't know. It's a good meeting, but it doesn't have the sense of community I think that we have here. I was kind of bummed. So
well, that's good perspective there, Katie. Thank you.
yeah.
And Julie says, I feel like it bridges so many gaps and helps with mitigating gatekeeping services. Again, being that place where where you show up, that you have the most recent current information, or that you can share it out with those who are looking for that same information. So that bond, I think it sounds as like it's very important to everyone.
So it's not all in the name. As we all know, homelessness has so many different factors that are involved in there, whether it's food, whether it's money, whether it's kids, mental health, SUD, co-occurring. I mean, it's quite the laundry list. Each one of these agencies are pros in what they do. But while BHA's subsidies might help the client in achieving a house, Bridget's team or access to KMH is what's going to stabilize that client and keep them from going into that eternal rinse, wash, repeat of found a home, lost a home, homelessness, back into services, rinse, wash, and repeat. And I think that this particular coalition has really tried to put its best foot forward and connecting all these different pieces that are just mandatory. It's not just about the doubloons anymore when it comes to the folks that are experiencing homelessness or about ready to experience homelessness. So there's so many different facets to it.
Thank you, Leif. That reminds me about there's a lot being talked about around the housing continuum. And I think that's a good example of that, right? Is that there's moving up the continuum from emergency shelter to owning your own home. There's a lot in between, and there's needs for support at every level, and everyone brings in different strengths to be able to support that and stabilize individuals to keep moving up in the continuum. Again, it makes me think of the homeless housing plan, and Kitsap County really trying to understand the system and take action to make the system better. So whatever that overarching system is that helps us all work together, supporting that and supporting each other through that, I think is really important. I don't see any other comments on this one. I just have one more last one. So what should KHHC do more of? There's a lot of ways we can frame this question, but what do you want from KHHC? When you show up, what would you want to learn or see more of? We talk a lot about this at the executive team meetings. There's lots of conversation around in-person meetings and, advocacy and, should we be going on the Hill talking about funding, trying to bring funding from the legislation to Kitsap County or for homelessness services. Are we already doing everything you expect us to do, I guess?
Now, that's one thing that the housing plans that tried to do was figure out ways we could make the KHCC meetings a little bit better and adding training into that. So everybody goes away with some new knowledge on not necessarily every meeting, but maybe once a quarter. And do that, as well as make sure that all the information that's inside of there, when people have questions, we can answer them right there on the spot.
I'm gonna really hang on to this resource, this network and resource hub. Like that seems like the core of KHHC, of how do we bring that connection to the resources to everyone who is a member. So it's given me a lot to think about, everyone. Thank you for just being here and participating. And Joni says, help community partners with onboarding to share updating the resource guide. Again, that's something we could help with, right? Is like, how do we share resources? And there's a digital resource guide. So connecting those two things and not trying to recreate the wheel, but really make sure that we are using our capacity to help others. Well, thank you all. And I will say around resources and coordinated entry, I just appreciate that KCR and Housing Solution Center is really taking that on, right? Which is, if we're a resource hub or we're bringing resources in, having Housing Solution Center on the executive team, having them really be invested in Project Connect and those things that really support coordinated entry as well. So it's a true team effort, so appreciate that. So all of this to say, I wanted to make sure you had an understanding of KHHC. There is this in the bylaws, and in general, there's always been this annual election of officers. Right now, as the chair, I do a lot. I facilitate meetings, I prepare for meetings, I send the newsletter. But again, that's all a result of us wanting to create systems and put systems in place that ultimately could be scalable to support a larger mailing list, to support more sharing of information. So we're still in the middle of that. I've been in this role for 2 years, and I'm willing to do another year because I do feel like we're on the verge of doing something amazing. And like I said, with the housing homeless plan and just being able to, from the Bremerton Housing Authority perspective, really support the continuum of housing through our participation is important to us. So the vice chair right now, that's Bridget's role at the moment. She just backs me up when I need her, or she's there for advice. And then she's there, of course, at the executive team meetings. Because I will say all the members at large, the secretary, all their roles are really, we meet that one time a month to talk, and we really support each other. So if I get an email in the admin email box that I don't know the answer to, I send it to the executive team so I can direct that sender into the right place. So then we have a secretary. Secretary in the past has been responsible for notes at the executive team meeting and the monthly meeting. I have been preparing agendas. We actually haven't had, like I said before, like Madison Tuttle has really taken on that role, just out of the kindness of her heart, because we kind of lost both of our secretaries, but we're trying to put some structure around that. I don't know if you noticed, but we haven't really had constant meeting minutes as much as maybe everybody would expect. And so I don't know how we want to share that, but at least these meetings are recorded. And we'll look into that this coming year of how we want to record the meetings, approve the minutes. I know that was a lot of formalized process in the past, but again, we really want to focus on the membership and bringing the membership up. So giving those structures to those meetings could be helpful. And we had a nomination process through an online form. I shared it in our last meeting. I've been sharing it on the newsletter. Madison Tuttle, she self-nominated, and I just appreciate her so much. She volunteered to be vice chair, but then she got her new role at Kitsap Mental Health Services. So we're going to be flexible, but I still would nominate Madison as vice chair. I think she's been so amazing in helping wherever she can. And then for secretary, I don't currently have a secretary nomination. But again, that's the only 2 I have right now. And like I said, I'm willing to do chair again, but if we want to somehow do a vote, Bridget, do you have any suggestions for this?
I would like to just say, you know, in years past or in the history of the decade that I've been coming about to this, lots of the larger agencies have always had people on the executive committee. At one point, people required, like they actually said, you know, somebody from, you know, KCR has to be on it, and somebody from BHA has to be on it. And
Yes, they did.
yeah, and I don't want it to be to the point that we have to call out an agency and say you need somebody on this. I think that we need to agencies should just step up and say they want to be a part of this, because it is a great benefit for our community and for community partnerships and for agencies. And it would be nice to see, you know, people nominating themselves, nominating people at their agency that they think can fill these roles, and or nominating each other from different agencies, because we see what great work we all do.
But in this moment, and the members at large, I will say Janae Longoria volunteered for the executive committee this year. So she will be helping us. Her first meeting will be in January, but she will be a member at large at this point. But otherwise, there are no other changes. So unless anybody and it looks like Scott is willing to step up too as well in the executive committee. That would be amazing. Again, I don't know if we want to run this vote now. We are pretty flexible right now because of the bylaws have been since 2016, and we really haven't done the vote for a while. But I don't know. What should I do, Bridget? Should I just, unless anybody disagrees, we'll continue like with me as chair, Madison as vice chair, and then we will have an active secretary through the executive team.
Yeah, I mean, and unless people want to email into you that they want to be a part of it and go from there.
But Scott, we can definitely send you an invite to the executive committee in January. So thank you for volunteering. That would be amazing to have Kitsap Homes of Compassion represented.
Yes, thank you, Scott.
Okay, and as a reminder, kitsapHHC.org and the contact emails admin@kitsapHHC.org. I am going to stop sharing and appreciate all of your energy and time today. I think this will hopefully start us in the right direction coming into the new year, bringing what we do to other coalitions to tell them about what KHHC does. You know, I really want all of us to coordinate around the same work. So I think KHHC brings so much value and will continue to work and bring value to you all. Let's see. I have, my next one is just a Project Connect update. Allie.
Hi, all. Project Connect is going to be here quicker than we think. But I have flyers and postcards for people to give out to individuals. They're here. If anybody wants to pick up Project Connect flyers and postcards, they can. If you need me to deliver them, please let me know. amoyer@kcr.org. Let me know if your agency wants them, how much you want. We need places to post them. We want to get the word out. We want to help as many people in the county as we can. So other than that, we're still taking new vendor registrations for the time being. And we have G2 set up so that they're going to help people that have transportation barriers get to their closest Project Connect. We are meeting, our next meeting is going to be January 8th. For anybody that wants to attend the committee meeting, please contact me and let me know. It's January 8th.
I mean, it's getting close, Allie. It's
I know.
It's wait, a month and a half away, but all the information is on our website. So if you go to Project Connect, you can see that information. We have a lot of vendors registered. I think we said December 15th as the deadline, but I still think we're taking registrations.
Yeah.
Do you know when the first email might go out to the vendors who registered?
Probably, I think the January 8th will be the final touches committee meeting, and then we will send out more information the following Monday.
I think that, again, I think that there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes for Project Connect, and there's 3 sites, and it's a whole week of activities. So appreciate you, Allie, for leading that. And the flyers are available to pick up from Allie, or they're all available for print at the website. So again, if you go to kitsapHHC.org, you can click Project Connect and you'll get all that information. And we update that as we add more. So, Carl from the county.
We have point in time count coming up, so I'm going to turn it over to Corey so he can talk a little bit more about point in time count.
Okay. Would you be able to set me up to share?
Yeah, if you request, I can approve it.
I just get a pop-up that says host disabled participant screen sharing. So I don't even get a chance to
You don't even get a chance?
request.
I think I might have a trick for you. Well, let me see. Let's see here.
So I'm probably logged in twice. That's because I'm having to remotely control a different computer.
Okay, let me see if I can. I'm gonna make you a co-host, Corey. Let's see what that does for you.
Okay.
In the past, I've been able, if you could be able to request, but I can't. Let's see. Can you request yet?
No, that's okay. I guess I can just talk and I will send you the flyer to send out on the mailing list.
Okay,
So
well, I'm
yes,
so sorry.
So we, as mentioned, that we have a whole week of fun coming up at the end of January. So between,
Oh, Corey, I think I fixed it.
okay. Oh, something flashed. Oh, there we go. Aha. So yes, the annual point in time count is coming up, and we are in need of volunteers. So we do the point in time count. It has been annually, but the state of Washington is moving to every other year schedule that kind of meets the requirements for the HUD federal requirements around how often we do the point in time count. So this year, in either case, we will be surveying people that are living unsheltered. And we do that in a number of different ways. We have outreach teams that go out and survey people where they're camping or staying. We have volunteers that we recruit to go out and survey at food banks and meal sites, and also at the Project Connect fairs. So we try to focus on having volunteers and surveying occurring over the period of Tuesday through Friday, the last week of January, to coincide with when we do our Project Connect fairs. So we'll be looking for volunteers to help us out Tuesday the 27th through Friday the 30th. So to register, you can go to kcowa.us/PIT 2026. I think I can put that in chat. There we go. So that's the registration link. I'm apparently opening the registration now. I had wanted to get registration out a little bit earlier, but we have not gotten the actual HUD notice for the point in time count like we usually do. That usually comes out late October. That gives us updates about any requirements that have changed. So right now I don't have trainings or forms or anything like that prepared as of yet, because we're going to have to wait until we find out what HUD is going to announce, if anything. So point in time count, it's very important for us to we interview people that come into the fairs, the food bank sites, and outreach teams. We interview people to collect information about their experience of homelessness. So how long they may have been experiencing homelessness, how they lost their housing, if they have any income or benefits, and other information that we collect to help us tell the story of homelessness in Kitsap County. And it provides kind of a snapshot of homelessness that over years, we've year after year, we've worked to make improvements in making sure that we're surveying as many people everywhere that we can. I know that over the last couple of years, we felt very confident that we've done a great survey, that we haven't missed anybody. But this is, this information gets used nationally, it gets used in the state, and it's also in our homeless housing plan. It helps describe people that are unsheltered, and it helps us request and ask for more resources for the supports that are needed in Kitsap County. So we need lots of volunteers at the Project Connect fairs in Silverdale and Port Orchard. We usually try to get about 12 volunteers, and then I ask for 30 in Bremerton, but we usually don't have that many that show up. So it's a shot in the dark, hoping that we get enough volunteers to help surveying go expediently during the Bremerton Connect Fair. But if everybody also showed up, I don't know where I'd sit everybody. So it's so there's I try to get as many volunteers as we can, and we hope and pray that we get what we need. One of the things that we are always looking for is volunteers that are bilingual or speak Spanish, especially at the Connect fairs. It's we have a lot of families coming in that may not be unsheltered, but they may be at risk of homelessness or low income. And oftentimes people with other language backgrounds are very important. And I know that there's not that many out there, so it's important that we have volunteers that can fill in those needs for us. So the Connect Fair is coming up. The project, the point in time count is coming up. If you are an HMIS user, you've probably been receiving some other emails from me regarding the longitudinal service analysis, where we have to do some data quality corrections. We'll be doing that now and again in early January, so we can try to get a leg up on getting our 2026 point in time count and housing information up to date. So you probably received a few emails from me and expect a few more. So if you've volunteered for us in the past, I'll be emailing out information about how to register for this upcoming year as well. Let me know if you have any questions. All right.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
And the last item is for updates. And while everybody thinks about their update and puts their hands up or puts it in the chat, if you have any updates from your agencies or resources to share, as that's why everyone is here, please do so. And even if you think it's a small thing, it might be helpful for someone else. And Marwan sounds like he has a quick announcement. Thank you, Marwan. Kelsey, you have an update?
Yeah, sorry, I entered that in the chat a little faster than I meant to. The Bremerton DSHS is going to begin hosting a pop-up children's closet the first Friday of every month from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free children's clothing.
Thank you. And Allie says we are needing donations for Project Connect. Do you want to speak to that, Allie? Allie's good. You're on mute.
My computer is dinging at me as I'm trying to unmute. Yeah, so Project Connect, we usually have a donations table right after they check in and go through the pick count or the survey. And typically what people are looking for is pants size. We always need men's pants, warmer clothes, coats, that type of stuff. So if there's anything in anybody's closet, you can feel free to drop it on by and donate it at the 1201 Park Avenue, or at HEN at Max Hale. Katie and I will be working together to name the donations this year. So.
Thank you. And a change too, I wanted to mention that, Ellie, about how Housing Solution Center will be doing intakes at Project Connect this year.
Yes, we will be.
So that's good because there might be a lot of intakes to do in January.
Yes, yes. I'm not sure if most of our community partners know, but we exit everyone as of December 31st. Some of our ROIs for like our agency agreements all end on December 31st. It's a good reset for HMIS so that we can collect new data. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. But coordinated entry starts anew January 1. So there's usually a heavy lift for us going around to the different social service agencies and shelters to try to get everyone back into our system, and back onto wait lists if they're on a shelter wait list or something like that. Our application is still available online at kcr.org/housing. And I will be sending out our latest ROIs to have clients send if people want to help facilitate. So.
Thank you, Allie. And yeah, it sounds like even though it's at the end of January, Project Connect having intake will be helpful too if you miss somewhere else. So, and Scott, you have a lot of updates. Why don't you share this?
Yeah, the list keeps getting bigger the longer we go. So first of all, we just wanted to let folks know, currently our mental health services, our psychiatric nurse practitioner, our MSW students, and our counselor are available internally to anyone who is engaged in our services. So if you know someone that you're working with that's engaged in our services, and you think they might benefit from that, please remind them that that's available to them. We're hoping to open up our counseling program to all of our partner agencies within the next few months, but right now that's internal. The second thing is we do have a service that is available to all of our partners and their clients, and that is our goal group that we do twice a month. I actually facilitate that myself, and for 2026, we're going to be focusing on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's free from 12 to 1:30 on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. Just come to the office. And we do that for staff as well as clients, because we feel like it's helpful for folks to learn skills that can benefit them in managing their own life and self-efficacy. The third thing is that we currently have an opening for a housing specialist position. So if you know someone, please refer them our direction. We have the posting up on ZipRecruiter. So that's what I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And that was Kids at Homes of Compassion for everyone. I'm right, Scott? That's Kids at Homes of Compassion. Yes. Okay. And Dawn, I see you have some updates too. Would you like to share?
Yeah, it's kind of a big one too. Effective November 2nd, really across the nation, the work requirements returned with the big, beautiful bill for basic food benefits. So it's pretty detailed. I put it in the chat. The gist of it is people that don't have dependent children or incapacity that prevents them from working 20 or more hours a week have to meet the work requirements in order to maintain eligibility for food benefits. And we started screening every client that we encounter for exemptions. So we're going to start seeing some of our community members not meeting eligibility requirements and losing their food benefits with the enactment of that bill and the requirements to work a minimum of 20 hours a week or earn the equivalent of 30 hours times the federal minimum wage, which is currently $7.25 an hour. So things might get a little bit chaotic. We'll probably see a lot of the food banks, getting busier, and people out there will be experiencing a lot more food insecurity for a little bit, I think.
Thank you, Dawn. Is there any other updates? I just wanted to say thank you again for giving us the space to talk about KHHC and continuously coming to our meetings and participating. There's a lot we could do, and there's a lot we're doing right already, it sounds like, and just being here every month to be sharing resources with each other. Please, if you have the opportunity, talk about KHHC with others, tell them how valuable it is. The resources you heard just today at the updates might be something you might have not heard until after the Christmas season. So creating this opportunity to share with each other is only possible because you're willing to share. So appreciate you all. And again, I think you can tell I'm becoming really passionate about making sure everybody here is supported. So if you need anything from me, please reach out. I'd love to meet individually with you all as we start really diving into what KHHC is all about. So thank you again, everyone. I hope you have happy holidays, and please reach out if you need anything.
Hey, Katie, can you stay on for a couple minutes?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, and Joni had an update about the resource guide coming out hopefully soon. So thank you, everyone.